Everybody, I've been a bit off color the last few days, both physically and emotionally, and hence the lateness of this video. Yeah, we need to talk about Harry and Meghan and the disaster that is just waiting to hit the royal family, if it hasn't already, behind the scenes. Personally, I think this is going to get worse before it gets any better. The first thing we need to address, and I've listened to other channels, and the amount seems to differ from channel to channel, and that is the amount that their security will cost in the future. Not only does the amount differ, but it also seems that there's a lot of confusion as to why the security would actually cost 20 million or more per year. Now, I have a family member who has been in the security industry for many years, and I asked his advice. And he said the following: Meghan and Harry, one of the most significant things in this article is where they say senior officers are understood to be drafting emergency plans to double the protection team guarding the couple and their son Archie, 9 months, who have all been in separate places recently. Now, that is significant in one aspect. We have not heard of Harry, Meghan and Archie being in 3 different places lately. So when did this happen? But anyway, that is besides the point. Like my family member said, if they are in 3 different places on a regular basis, that means for their personal protection, they will need 4 people per person. It often happens that they attend evening functions, and therefore they will each need 4 people. 2 people during the day on an 8 to 10 hour shift, and 2 people at night on an 8 to 10 hour shift or longer. Then if they are away from home, they will also need someone to stay behind on their residential premises. We know that they often drive themselves, but it depends on the circumstances. If there is a real threat of some kind, which we often will not know about, they will also need a guard to drive them. So the fact that it has previously been said that they have 15 protection officers is actually quite correct, because it will be 4 per person plus perhaps an additional 1. And then, as they say in this very last sentence of the article, there are plans to double the protection team, and that is also to ensure that they have additional people to stay behind at the residence if they are somewhere else, and also as a stand-in if someone gets sick, go on leave, whatever the case may be. Things happen. The guards are as human as we are. So the fact that they're looking at increasing the number of protection officers they have at the moment, which I believe is 15, is actually quite logical. Well, in this case scenario. And I'm not standing up for them in any way whatsoever, but if my family member was to quote them on a similar scenario, this is what he would have done. He would have looked at about 18 to 20 officers. Okay, so the cost thereof. It is clear that Meghan and Harry by now wants nothing to do with the royal family. Meghan has let go of a bid to become a British citizen, so she no longer wants to be a British citizen. And therefore one must assess whether there really is a risk involved and how big the risk is. Once they become private citizens, I would assume that the risk to them would decrease and not increase, which to my mind would be one protection officer per shift per person. Remember, these officers are highly trained, and therefore as private citizens with diminished risk, I really don't see why their protection should be doubled. I then asked that question as well, and according to my family member, he said his risk assessment on this couple would be fairly high at this stage. Reason being that there's a lot of anger towards the couple at the moment. That is the one thing. The other thing is the fact that they are in the news, and he also said that one thing he would advise the couple at this point is to actually reduce all this fluff that's being put out in the media by their PR. They should actually try and attend whatever functions or work-related things they're attending, to do it quietly, like they did with the JP Morgan summit. Do it quietly, try not to inform the press or anybody else other than their protection officers, and try to stay out of the news as much as possible, because these lies and media fluff that has been going out since they left the royal family actually causes more anger and resentment, and thus an increased risk to them. Okay, so that is it. The next thing, who should be paying for it? Now, I cannot see or understand why the British public or the Canadian public should be paying for this via their tax dollars or pounds. This couple chose to step away from an already set up security detail. They chose to step away from the royal family with all the perks that came with. It was their choice, and one of their reasons for doing so was to go out and earn their own money. So, therefore, they should also be paying their own costs. Now, I do not believe that Harry or Meghan has 20 million to spend on security per year. Not now. They may have it later, but they definitely do not have it now. Never mind. What I would then suggest, and this is my personal opinion, is that the Sussex Duke and Duchess titles be taken away from them. Harry immediately be released from his military patronages and commitments immediately, because having those increases his risk, according to my family member. So to keep Harry safe, remove the Duke and Duchess titles and immediately release him from his military duties, whatever he has left, or his titles as such. This will immediately reduce their risk. So that is that on the security. Now we move on to Harry and Meghan's itinerary in the UK for the next few days. Today, Friday the 26th of February, Harry is attending the Travelist Summit in Edinburgh. On the 28th of February, Harry is to meet and record with Bon Jovi and the Invictus Games Choir. On the 5th of March, Meghan and Harry is to attend the Endeavour Fund Awards in London. On the 6th of March, Harry will be attending the Silverstone Experience, a motor racing museum, with Formula One's Lewis Hamilton. On the 7th of March, Harry and Meghan is to attend the Mountbatten Festival of Music at the Royal Albert Hall. On the 8th of March, Meghan is to attend an International Women's Day event. On the 9th of March, obviously, the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey. Now, I just quickly want to discuss the photographs of Harry arriving at Edinburgh's Waverley Station. Looking at these photographs, a couple of things stood out for me. He looked disheveled, which may be due to traveling. However, he's wearing the same jacket he was photographed in 2016. His hair looks unkempt. His pupils are dilated, maybe because of tiredness or the dark, but it's just a little too dilated for my liking. And he is extremely thin, as you can see in the photograph I attached to this video. Harry does not look well, and no matter what angle you look at him from, it remains the same. This is not a matter of lighting or angles or anything else anyone can come up with. Harry does not look well. I very quickly googled dilated pupils, and it may also be caused by medication, although most drugs and known depression medication would actually cause the exact opposite, namely for the pupils to contract, to get smaller. So this man is definitely, there's something up with him. He is not well. He may also be stressed, although once again, actually the opposite is true. If you are more relaxed and less stressed, your pupils will be dilated. That is in short what I get from it, but once again, he is extremely thin. He has lost a heck of a lot of weight and actually looks half his size. Although I have a few things to say about this Travelist venture, I'm not going to get into it today. I'm aware that I'm a bit low energy today, other than to say that I'm positive that this is one huge money-making scheme. Yeah, personally I do not think it was a good idea for Harry to return to Britain right now. That is if he wasn't there all this time in any event. I do not personally think that he is ready to face the public, be that the British public or anyone else. I think this man needs some serious help. He looks like someone with PTSD to me. I think he's volatile, or his behavior may be volatile, and I don't mean necessarily in a violent way, but he looks like someone who could be prone to unpredictable behavior at this stage, and I don't think it's in any way good for him or his health to face the public at the moment. On the other hand, I do feel that the public has every right to speak up and to criticize Harry and Meghan. At this point, Harry's actions, as far as I'm concerned, towards his family and towards his military commitments, was nothing less than traitorous. I do expect that there will be some people who will attend or go to these events where they are due to appear, and I do expect that there will be some trouble, be it some booing or some heckling, and I don't find anything wrong with that either, because why should these two impetuous, I have no words for them really, but why should they be getting away with this kind of behavior? Their behavior towards the Queen has just been absolutely terrible. Their actions and behavior towards the British public has been really, really embarrassingly bad. So yeah, I can't see why they should get away with it, regardless of their mental or physical health. I wouldn't want to see any of them harmed or hurt or driven to, say, suicide. That is not my intention, but I do not think they should be getting away with their impetuous, self-righteous behavior either. If I was in Britain at this stage, I would certainly have painted a very nice poster or placard and planted myself outside one of these events where they are due to appear. So yes, I am still wondering whether Meghan will actually arrive in the UK. If I was a royal advisor, and I'm not even talking about her PR, I'm talking about a royal advisor, I would have advised Meghan at the very least not to come back to the United Kingdom at this stage. I don't think she's very welcome. I think we're all fed up with her smug face, and I think she is being blamed for 90% of what has happened since beginning of January. So I do not see, in the very least, her visit to turn out very well. I also think that it's disruptive in the sense of the appearances of the other royals. I think their appearances over the next few days or weeks would be far more positive without, I almost want to say without Harry and Meghan, but definitely without Meghan. I do not think that the Queen at 94 actually deserves to exit into a crowd who are heckling and booing the Sussexes, because she is still Harry's grandmother. This woman has given many years of her life to the British people, and I do not think she deserves to see this or to experience it. So I would like to end with a call to the British public. I wouldn't blame you if you do protest against Harry and Meghan. I would not blame you for booing them. I think they deserve it. But please do so at the Endeavour Fund award ceremony in London, or at the Mountbatten Festival of Music. Some event that's not attended by Her Majesty the Queen. I do believe that the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey should pass without incident, and purely because the Queen will be in attendance. So that is my opinion for today. I have started another video on my opinion on Travelist, to be specific, and also on what they are planning with this Travelist endeavour. And there's something bugging me about that, and as soon as I can get mind and body to work together again, I will put that video up. So for now, I'm saying bye.
Remember to like, subscribe, and click that little bell. Please drop a dime in my granny's PayPal cup if you will.